degree. So when they start college, they start college as a junior instead of a freshman. And that is really financially beneficial, but they're really prepared. And they have a late. Now, as we went through the process, we had the boat people.
Mrs. Carey, your story fascinates me. Can you talk a little bit more about the Vietnamese refugee transfer from Vietnam to the United States and how and what you thought of it as a teacher?
They had a much more difficult time adjusting, and it took them longer to be able to, get into the, educational system.
Carey, since you've been in the LittleSaigon community for a really long time now, can you elaborate on what you've done for the community?
Well, first of all, I've been here since '73, so I was here before the Vietnamese, actually came to Westminster. And one of the things that was so exciting is the change in the whole city and how prosperous it was, and it really kind of changed the whole complexion of the city, which was really exciting. I was a city councilwoman for the city of Westminster as well. And I'll tell you a little story. It was really pretty unique. My very first event that I went to, I had bought my ao dai, 2 ao dais. I already told you about my favorite one. And when I walked into the restaurant, there was just light bulbs flashing and flashing, and I was really taken aback because I didn't realize that what they were doing was going out to the whole community, even overseas. So that's when I realized that I needed to have more ao dais because I was going to be on TV all the time. But that I've tried. I was a member of the Boys and Girls Club. We tried. We knew we didn't try. We actually got it done so that the Boys and Girls Club could help students at the high school level instead of just the elementary level as well. I'm responsible for the freeway, staying within its bounds. They were going to take many homes in Westminster, and so I worked on that actually for almost 20 years. And now, of course, it's coming to an end. But so I've been in the community for a really long time, and a lot of my neighbors, are Vietnamese, and I've just really, enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the dancing and the singing, and it's just, that part's really wonderful.
So how many Huntington Beach Junior High School District students have participated in dual enrollment ever since that we started having dual enrollment classes?
Well, again, we started in 2016, and we've had about 7,000 students participate in dual enrollment, and they've taken about 11,000 classes. And one of the things that's really great about it is we have students every year that when they graduate, they have their high school diploma and an AA degree. So when they start college, they start college as a junior instead of a freshman. And that is really financially beneficial, but they're really prepared. And they have a leg up on other students because when colleges look at the dual enrollment and they know you've taken all those college classes, well, they also know that you would be more likely to be successful in their classes because you've already had the college experience.
That's incredible. Are these dual enrollment classes available online?
Yes, some of the classes are online, it just depends, and some of the classes, of course, are in person. Many of the classes are taught by our teachers, so the students would know the teachers. Another good thing about it is that because they're taught here, at the high schools, there's tutoring available, and the teachers keep a really close watch on you, which I mentioned earlier in time management. You kind of learn that more because when you go to college, they don't really watch you quite as much. So that sometimes that doesn't work out so well for some of our students, but we do have online and here at the campus.
That's great news. If students like me are interested in signing up, who should they talk to?
Well, they need to go and talk to their counselor, their guidance tech, and you know, it depends. Like what your goal is. If you want to go into a career pathway, you know, they can advise you about which classes to take. If you're looking really to transfer to a four-year college, they can you know, help you with that too. They can also help with application process and things like that. So your counselor and your guidance tech are the ones that you should go and talk to.
As a representative of the Board of Trustees, how are you ensuring that dual enrollment is working for our students?
Well, first of all, we monitor that, but that has been a goal of the board, because we want to have as many opportunities for our students as possible. We want our students to be successful long-term, whatever they decide to do, you know, in their career or, you know, in their advanced educational experience. And so that is one of the goals of the Board of Trustees. So we have worked very closely with the community colleges to make sure that we can expand our offerings. We have our teachers. You need to have a master's degree in whatever it is you're teaching, and so we offer that for them as well. Not the master's degree part, but we make sure that that if they want to get a master's degree, that would be great, because it would help us offer more classes. And a lot of our teachers have master's degrees. So Derek, tell me about your parents. You know, what do you think that they would want for you with regard to dual enrollment?
Yes, my parents really value education. So if I knew about dual enrollment sooner or earlier, I think my parents would encourage me to take dual enrollment, because not only am I getting high school credit, but I'm also getting college credit, which would transfer to like four-year colleges. That's something that I want to aim for as a senior. And so I feel like my parents would really support that decision. Oh,
that's really good. Yeah, we try and communicate, you know, the dual enrollment to our families through our guidance technicians and the counselors. We also put it up on our website so that, you know, the parents can go. And I know we also advertise the dual enrollment classes in different publications that we think, you know, various parts of our community would, you know, really appreciate that. But I know that, you know, so many of our Vietnamese families they worked so hard when they came to here to make a successful home for their students and for their, you know, children. And now we're looking at you, which would be the grandson probably of the initial Vietnamese when they first, you know, came over. But, you know, having education has always been one of the things that is very attractive about the Vietnamese culture, because they really love that so much. And it's one of the things that as a school board, you know, we really try and foster that. That's why we now have the Vietnamese immersion, you know, in our schools in here, you know, at Westminster High School, because culture is very important, and understanding culture is really important too. And that's why I love to come to all the events here at Westminster High School, because it's just great. I know we have a Vietnamese student or two on the Hispanic you know, flamenco dancing and vice versa. And that's wonderful for understanding, and that's going to really help our students, you know, later in life, because they're you know, able to get along with so many different cultures.
Các em học sinh thân mến, các em có sẵn sàng để nâng các kỹ năng của mình lên mức cao hơn chưa? Hãy sẵn sàng đi, bởi vì học khu trung học Huntington Beach đang bổ sung thêm các lớp giáo dục kỹ thuật nghề hay CTE trong niên học tới. Cho dù em thích về kỹ thuật, y tế, kinh doanh hay các ngành nghề khác, đều sẽ có lớp ưa thích cho mỗi người. Các lớp CTE được thiết kế để cho học sinh có trải nghiệm thực tế trong đời sống. Hãy tận dụng cơ hội này để phát triển các kỹ năng đáng giá, giúp các em chuẩn bị cho sự thành công. Các lớp CTE sẽ khác nhau tùy vào các trường trong học khu. Em nhớ hỏi chuyên gia hướng dẫn của mình để xem các lớp nào được dạy ở trường em. Đừng bỏ mất cơ hội này để khám phá về các đam mê và tiềm năng của mình.
Yeah, I started my teaching career here in this district in 1973, and when I started teaching, I did a lot of second language learning, and I was actually the district director for second language learning, and we had many Hispanic students and many Vietnamese students, and it was really very fun and eye-opening. When they first asked me to teach, they called me the day before school started, and they said, we need a teacher for our second language learning biology class. Would you do it? And because I was doing regular, biology and health and things, and I said, sure, I don't have a problem with that. And oh my gosh, the first day I realized that you cannot, teach in a normal, regular manner, because you have people in your class that don't understand English, at that level. And so I wrote the entire curriculum and won an award for it, and it was really interesting. And when I went into administration, my last year of teaching before I went in, my first period class had like 20 different languages in it. So that was pretty amazing.
Mrs. Carey, your story fascinates me. Can you talk a little bit more about the Vietnamese refugee transfer from Vietnam to the United States, and what you thought of it as a teacher?
Well, it was very unusual, and it was very different because I came from a community that was not diverse at all. But when the Vietnamese first came over, the first Vietnamese to come in were highly educated because they had been going to school in Vietnam. And so they all spoke French, and they didn't speak English, but they were bilingual in French and Vietnamese. So for them, it was an easier transition for them to learn English and then, move on. Now, as we went through the process, we had the boat people. They had a much more difficult time adjusting, and it took them longer to be able to, get into the, educational system. Tried really hard. There were some just heartbreaking stories. I remember two. One was in my biology class, and this really sharp student, and he always did his homework, and he always got A's on everything, and he was just, a pleasure to have in class. And all of a sudden, he wasn't doing his homework, and it was just a completely different person. And I asked him, I said, well, what is wrong? Because I knew something was wrong, because the transition from being, right on top of things to not doing anything was really significant. And I'll never forget it. He looked at me and he said, well, I came in and my aunt brought me in, but there's not room in the house for me, so I'm living in my car. And what happened was the time had changed, and so it was dark, and he didn't have any way to see. And I told him that was just heartbreaking. And also, he was hungry, and we, of course, gave food and everything. But from that experience, what I did is I came into my classroom about an hour and a half early, because I had a late start because I taught later in the day. And I opened my classroom up to him and to anybody, and I used to bring food in, and it was warm, and I said, you can come in and you can do whatever you want to do, whichever homework you want to do. If you want to sleep, if you want to just eat bananas and cereal bars, you can certainly do that as well. But I wanted him to have a safe place so that he could achieve. And it was really exciting because eventually he came back to me after he had graduated, and I had him as a sophomore. So he came back about 3 years later and thanked me, and that I thought was just, really a wonderful story, because I know that was really good for him, and he was, in college by then, which was great. And then another story, which was a little for me more sad. Again, a female student, and she was just so brilliant and wonderful. But I'm not sure of exactly the transition, but I think that when you're 18 years old, you couldn't go to school anymore, and the family wasn't going to get any more money for her, and so they made her drop out of high school, and she had to go and work in a nail salon. And I talked to her parents, actually it was her aunt, and to try and get them to leave her there, and they just said no, that she couldn't do that. So there was a lot of, you know, issues then, but that's one of the things I'm so proud of the community for, because they really overcame a lot of those, you know, negative issues when they first came here.
Mrs. Carey, do you have any final words for the audience?
Well, I do. I'm just really thrilled to be here today, and I'm thrilled to be able to talk to you about dual enrollment. This is an absolutely wonderful opportunity for your students, and I do hope that everyone will really take advantage of it. And as I said it before, you know, these are college credit classes, and they are free, and your students get a lot of help with them. And so it's really going to be beneficial to you and to your students if we take advantage of that. So please, you know, call the guidance techs and have your student go in. You can look at things online, and that would be really very, very helpful. And please spread the word, because we are a dual enrollment school district, so we are known for that. You know, other school districts don't really have dual enrollment, and it's really very popular and very good for our families. Lastly, I want to thank LittleSaigon TV for this opportunity to come and speak with you about one of our just really outstanding programs. We have something in the district for everybody, but it's really important that we get the word out, and we want to thank LittleSaigon TV for helping us educate the community. You'll probably see me again, because we are going to be sharing about some of our other programs as well. We have so many in the district. CTE, which is Career Technical Education, and we also have the Academy for the Performing Arts. We have many things at each different school, so we look forward to coming and speaking with the community again. So I want to again thank LittleSaigon TV for this opportunity.
Thank you, LittleSaigon TV, for tuning in for this interview. Also, thank you to Trustee Carey for all that you do and for all that you continue to do. It's been a pleasure to interview you.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Derek. And it really has been my pleasure to be here to explain about all of our programs.